Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for attending Lane Community College's virtual resource fair. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Carl Ye. I work in student affairs at the college. We are actually trying something different this time around, and what we hope is a model for future weeks. Would like to repeat this session if we could. Instead of doing a virtual resource fair where we just kind of push a bunch of resources on you, we're going to focus on two specific resources at the campus, and then we hope in future weeks that we can focus on others. And so this will be more of a talk show kind of format, and we hope to get some of your questions. But I'll be doing I'll throw out some interview questions to our two guests today, and I think I'll introduce people in a moment. But first, in addition, I want to mention that this session is sponsored by Northwest Community Credit Union, and so we thank them very much for their sponsorship. And with that, let me introduce our two guests. First, I'd like to introduce Laura Greene, who is the director for the health clinic. And then I will have the Dean of Student Engagement, Jennifer Falzerano. And also assisting us and who will be featured in a future segment is Tammy Walters, who is a career counselor. Career advisor. I messed up your title already. Great. Thank you very much, everyone. And so again, the two topics we're going to focus on today are the student health clinic and student engagement. I'm going to start with Laura Greene first. And the question I wanted to ask you, Laura, was what's the one most important health issue students should be thinking about?
Well, I'm actually going to talk about two things because why limit myself to one? And one is fairly topical for the moment, that if there were one thing I would want people to think about doing right now, it's to get vaccinated for COVID-19 if you have not already done so. That's the number one thing you can do to protect yourself from COVID-19. Also, please get vaccinated for flu this year. And the health clinic has both flu vaccines and COVID-19 vaccines available. So schedule an appointment for that. But to look beyond COVID, because that's not the only thing affecting our health, I would say is to think about getting enough physical activity, exercise. It's probably the one thing that is most important in terms of affecting all the systems of your body, from brain health to mood and emotion, heart health, respiratory health, bone health, muscles, prevention of cancer, lowering your risk of dying, quality of life, sleep, all sorts of things. It has short-term health benefits in the moment and affects your health through your entire life. And is something that easily can be neglected when people are busy and in school and working and have other things on their mind. But it's something that is really, really important for overall health.
Thank you. And you can tell we didn't pre-coordinate this. Otherwise, I would have changed my question to what are the two things that college students should be worried about. And I think it's fair for you to bring up COVID, Laura, especially since that is arguably the major health issue in the news, at least right now. So I think it's fine to have COVID in and the other things. So thank you. I was expecting a different answer. So, and I know I try to constrain you, like tell me what the most important thing is. So we'll come back to that one in a second. So I'm going to switch over to Dean Falzerano here. So I'm a new college student. So I ran into the health clinic director. She told me that I need to get physically active and stuff, and also get my COVID shot. But you, as the Dean of Engagement, how do I meet people? Because that's on my mind. I'm thinking about, I'm a new community college student. I want to meet people. What do I do?
Well, there's a lot of ways, Carl, and actually one of them could be getting your physical activity. So students may not know, but we have a wonderful recreation department that can help with checking out all kinds of sports equipment. You can set up games. You can have a lot of fun doing recreational events with them, and that is housed within our PE group. So that's one way to get involved. I'm going to drop in a few other ways. So you see this background that I have here. We have a phenomenal play happening next week. And it's going to happen on Zoom, actually. It's called Bert and Dec, Surviving College. I'm going to drop in the link into the chat here for you all. And it is, and of course now like my link is hard to find. It is going to be next Thursday night. And as an added bonus, before the play starts, everybody who signs up by Wednesday, there will be free food to pick up, a free hot meal. Come pick it up at the downtown campus right next to Titan Court. If you're living down there at Titan Court or 13th and Olive, right across from the bus station. Be hot dinners ready to pick up at 5. And then at 6:30, we'll have the play. So you can meet some folks while you're picking up dinner. And then after that, there is a series of events happening around campus. We have lots of clubs and activities. And the Asian Pacific Islander Club is starting Malama Mondays, starting this Monday. It is a fantastic way to start off your week. You can learn about Asian Pacific Islander cultures. You can practice mindfulness and hula and learn and meet some new friends there. And that is on our Multicultural Center website. So take a look there on the Multicultural Center. And speaking of the Multicultural Center, they're open Mondays and Thursdays. You're welcome to come in. We have lots of student groups there that are very active. The Black Student Union, the APISU, the Asian Pacific Islander Student Union, NASA, our Native American Student Union is going to start meeting this Friday, and our MECHA group. So there is lots of activity happening there. Our Gender Equity Center is open on Mondays and Thursdays. And the GSA, the Gender and Sexuality Alliance Club, is available for students, and they are active. And some clubs are starting to meet in person. So if you feel like I really need to meet people in 3D and see them in real life, the clubs might be the place for you. I also want to let you know about our awesome student government. Lane Student Government is going to be starting to meet more regularly, and they do events and activities and want to hear from students about what you want. And through our Council of Clubs, I believe we have about 30 active clubs, everything from the drone club to all kinds of co-curricular things that can help you get to know other students. Watching our Facebook page, and right on the front page of Lane's website, there's a scrolling calendar. You can find a lot of activities, or through the Titan Communities site. If anybody in the chat ever used Titan Communities? Anybody who's here? No, well, I am going to drop that link in there for you to make it easy to find. And there you can find all of our clubs and activities happening.
You got a yes. Someone did say yes.
Yay!
Well, Jennifer, thank you. I was thinking, it sounds like what I'm hearing from you is that if you want it, it is available, and not only just online, but in person too. And so that sounds really exciting. And it's okay for those of you in the audience, if you did not get all of that, there are links. And the great thing about at Lane Community College, we're big, but we're not that big. You can contact any of us, and we're happy to get you on the right track. Now, for maximum impact, I want to ask my next question to Jennifer, but I want to acknowledge I did see the anonymously submitted Q&A about transfer, and we'll definitely get to that because I don't want to lose that person. But I want to ask Jennifer really quickly. Okay, earlier I was an extrovert, but now, I'm also the kind of person who just wants to go to school, do the work, and I have a lot of stuff going on at home. I've got a partner, I've got kids, I've got caring for adults. I don't even have time to meet people. What's wrong with just going to school, doing what I need to do, going home and taking care of that business? Help me understand why this is even important.
Well, there's a lot of reasons it's important. One, I want to acknowledge that many students' lives are super busy and that they are just doing their best. And so I say, congratulations to you for getting to school. That's awesome. We want to help you. So engagement doesn't have to be staying late after class or doing extra things. It can be homework. It can be hanging out in one of the centers doing homework and observing new information and gathering in new people just by being on campus and being in our centers. We have our Veterans Center, which has wonderful support for veterans, the Multicultural Center, the Gender Equity Center, our TRIO centers. Those are all designed to help you be successful in class. And that's what's really important about being engaged. It's okay if a club's not for you. We'd love it if it is. But if it's not, that's okay. We have other ways that you can engage to really support that homework or to get support for your mental health with kind of balancing all those other things you are doing. We have engagement opportunities for our mental health and wellness center that has apps for your phone to talk to folks when you feel overwhelmed or you need extra help. Those are ways of engaging that might be the right fit for you right now. And we have those many different options and we want folks to take advantage of them. What's important is that we don't want you to be isolated and alone and feel like I'm the only person struggling with this. Probably there's a staff member or a faculty who's been through what you're going through or another student, and they might be there to be a support for you and to help you stay engaged in meeting your goals.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I was going to say that, from my college experience, even though sometimes you want to hang out with people and sometimes you don't, but I found that actually being with other people, whether it was just purely social or for some other kind of student activity, really just made a richer experience. And it's the whipped cream on top of your latte, if you will. And I thought that was so I thank you for encouraging us to get out there and do that stuff. I'm going to go to Tammy, I think, who can answer this question from the anonymous attendee, but I want to prep Laura that I will be asking you next about the most embarrassing things that students want to talk with you about, but are just too embarrassed to ask you. And I'm prepping everyone so that they stay with us, but also because I want better ratings. I figure whatever answer you give will help, kind of pump up my ratings a little bit. So with that in mind, Tammy, I think you saw the question. Would you mind reading it? And then if you don't mind trying to answer that question?
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you for the person who submitted the question. And this is someone who might need help transferring to the U of O next year. The question is supposed to be last year here and have no idea what I need to get started or attend the U of O. I never done a tour of the U of O campus. And since the pandemic hit, I'm at the end of my second year and first year here at Lane. Oh, well, congratulations. That is awesome. And really lost. Totally understand that. I myself can think about that. And our campus and the U of O can be very intimidating. First of all, congratulations. And second would be your best first step is to connect with your academic advisor. They're going to help you with your plan and be sure that you have all your ducks in a row so that you know what you need for that transfer. They work closely with our University of Oregon, other universities, and they kind of know the steps and can help you be the support to help you navigate that process. And if you need help with that, let us know because we can help you find your advisor, help you make an appointment, help you get connected to your academic advisor. The next step would be to actually contact the U of O. Even though in this weird pandemic, they're pretty weird, there are people there to help you. And like us, their admissions office is going to be the first step, but they also have many clubs, organizations, student engagement activities, other resources, Trio Center and other places to kind of help you navigate. In fact, I bet they even have like introductions or maybe even do a campus tour. So again, we'd be happy to help you navigate and help you get there so you can learn about the timelines, the application process, deadlines, transfer credits, or things that you might need to get you going there. So thank you for that question. And again, congratulations. But knowing we can kind of help you get to that next step and help you be successful.
Thank you so much, Tammy. So it sounds like two main takeaways: talk to your advisor, contact U of O. I wanted to add to that, the question made me think that not everyone has connections to the University of Oregon, even though they're intending to go there. And U of O may have a program like this, but I wonder if maybe we can figure out ways that we can help each other in the Lane community to be a Lane buddy to take you over to U of O or just something to talk about. I actually did go to University of Oregon, so I asked the anonymous attendee, please feel welcome. You can ask me questions because you may not know anyone, and that's fair. You may not know anyone, and you will once you do attend. I'm sure you will start meeting more people, but until then, some of us can share some of those stories with you or tell you things about the campus. Although with each passing year, that information gets possibly less reliable for me. Anyone else here in the room? U of O grad? U of O Jason? Hey, me and Tammy. Very good. So you have two people now that you can ask questions. So, okay, let's go to Laura. And so what are students embarrassed to talk with you about? And I'm going to eliminate some things you can't talk about. You actually know what? I'm not going to limit it. Go ahead. I'm trying to steer you towards something. If you couldn't tell.
Well, I know yeah, but the thing is that it's super, what people are embarrassed about is totally individual. And so for some people, they're embarrassed to talk about mental health issues. So maybe for somebody that, like, culturally or in their family or their conditioning, it's hard for them to talk about that they're struggling with stress or anxiety or depression. But for somebody else, it's easy to talk about that and to tell me that they're struggling with those things. For some people, it's embarrassing and hard to talk about sexual health issues, asking to be tested for STDs or having questions about sexual health or their sexual practices. And for some people, that's really easy and comfortable to talk about that because of their cultural background or because of their friends or because of the environment that they're in. For some people, it's hard to talk about like gastrointestinal stuff like diarrhea or something. And for other people, it's easy to talk about that. And so it's really just like all over the place what it's hard and easy for people to talk about. But I guess what I want to share with folks is that myself and the nurse practitioner here, and basically like any nurse practitioner, any doctor has probably talked about like anything that a body has experienced. And so for us, none of it is weird or embarrassing or strange or, something we haven't talked or heard about before. So, even though it might be hard for somebody, a patient, a student, to talk with us about something, we have talked about pretty much all of it before. And so hopefully that can ease people's minds a little bit in bringing things that they think like, nobody has ever experienced this thing or asked this really weird question before, but I'm pretty sure somebody has asked me that question before. And it's not a big deal.
Thank you so much for that. And my intent was to get something salacious out of you, and you turned it around on me very well. You legitimized the question. You actually made it seem like I actually asked you a good question. And so what I took away from what you were saying is that, hey, we can talk with you about anything, and you've probably heard it before. And I know that we at Lane, we have students from all different age groups and all different backgrounds, but maybe for some of us, we've always gone to the doctor with our parent, and this is the first time we're on our own, and we really have to take ownership of our personal health, and we have to actually engage with you as a healthcare provider, because if we don't tell you stuff, you won't be able to help us, is what I'm taking away from this.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks. Good to know. We can talk. I feel I can talk with you about anything, but hopefully the audience can too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with you for a moment. And I think you kind of answered the question when I first asked you, but if you could imagine our students like who are watching us right now, 20 years in the future, what's something that you think they will regret if they don't start doing now? And then you mentioned exercise, actually, that you picked on my regret. I regret that because in high school, I exercised a lot. And I think it was because it was part of the programming of high school. And as soon as high school stopped, I think my physical activity dropped to zero.
Yeah.
And I regret that. And so, but maybe that's one of the regrets, but what are some other regrets that you could see students having?
Health-wise. I think that, yeah, that would be the major one would be, I think that a lot of people have a similar story to yours, that they exercise through team sports in like elementary school, junior high, even through high school. And then after high school stopped because college doesn't have the same kind of easy opportunities necessarily because it's a higher level, unless you're doing easy access to intramural kind of sports and stuff. So I think that it's important when you get into college to continue exercise, even if it's not doing a team sport. So finding some way that's still fun and satisfying to stay physically active. I think that's probably the number one. And I guess the second one would be if you smoke, if you vape, if you use tobacco of any kind,
Oh, that's a good one.
you will absolutely regret not quitting that immediately. So that would be another one. It's obviously not as common as it used to be to smoke and vape and use tobacco, but it still is prevalent. So people should absolutely think about quitting. That's another service available in the health clinic if you do want to stop, if you want to quit smoking, vaping, or using tobacco.
I love how you brought that up, and I know I think stop me if I'm wrong, but you might have access to products like tobacco, nicotine gums, and things like that.
Yeah, we can prescribe that. There's also medications that can be prescribed that can help people quit tobacco. So you can use nicotine replacement as one option, or there's actually medications that can help people quit that are really quite effective, along with kind of, counseling, encouragement, and things like that. So those are
Thank you so much for mentioning that, because that is I could definitely see that being a regret 20 years from now, and it is it's a physical addiction, so it's not easy, and thank you. I appreciate their services to try to address that. Cool. Going back to Jennifer. So in addition, whoops. Oh, I think I asked both. We talked about earlier how some of our students' lives are complicated. I think you are aware of, and your department actually oversees lots of services that could help students that are struggling in many different ways. Maybe you can talk about what are some of the common struggles that students have had, and what can the college do to help?
Yeah, I think it's really important that students are aware that struggles are normal and that we want to help you with them. That's why we all have jobs. That's why we love working in higher education. It's helping you meet your goals, whatever those are, and that there are all kinds of life situations that get in the way of those goals, and we want to help. So one of the things I would want to make sure folks are aware of, we have childcare resources. If you have children who are age about 2.5 to pre-kindergarten, we have 3 different classrooms on campus for children. One is the downtown campus, and actually there's 3 out on main campus. So now we have 4. We just added 1 more. So if you have childcare issues, and I know childcare is expensive. I have a 7-year-old myself, so it is expensive to care for those kiddos. And we have some funding available to help with that if you have young children. We have the Quality Cares Connection to help find good after school programs and to connect in with that. We know that can be a real barrier for students with older children they're trying to help. So there are childcare resources. One super exciting thing that we've added to the campus that the state has helped fund is benefits navigators. A lot of people do not realize what they might be eligible for in state and federal aid, or they might be embarrassed to ask. That sometimes people feel that way too. And what we want to say to you is, like, you are trying to move yourself up and to try to meet your educational goals. And we want to help you get there. And here are some resources. And so our benefits navigator may be able to help you with either getting some nutrition support or getting some other help, maybe electricity support. So we have a benefits navigator on campus that can help. If you're doing a certificate program, we have wonderful partners in the SNAP, in the STEP and PASS program that might be able to help with additional resources to wrap around. We have folks that can help with vocational rehab. We have folks that can help with all the veterans benefits. If you're a veteran or if your parent was a veteran, it can be super confusing to read through all of that. We have folks who spend a lot of time getting trained to help you, and they want to help you in the Maxwell Student Veteran Center. We have access to a small emergency fund that you can access through the student engagement website. So maybe you just had a really unexpected expense, like maybe you have one car and your brakes went out and you need help with that because you can't get to school without that. That's an area where we can help with that. Watching your student email, there's been a lot of things come down through the federal government with COVID relief funding that you have to apply for, but a lot of students can get those things. And we want to make sure that you're reading that email and getting those things. We also have on campus the rainy day food pantry. We have food boxes available once a week. Any student is welcome to come in and request those through our website. It's really good food. We get food from we get some fresh garden produce from our beautiful campus garden and other fresh food resources that can help stretch the budget. We have the no cash clothing stash if you need some new clothes. And we really want you to come in and get any help that we can offer with wonderful tutoring resources. And we're all sort of together on a place called the Hub, which you can search the Hub on our website and you'll find an easy way to access all of the different centers. And I would be remiss not to offer you TRIO or TRIO STEM, which have wraparound and tutoring services for students. International programs has lots of help for international students. Tammy, what am I missing? Financial aid. We also have, if you haven't applied for financial aid, if you have questions about that, we are here to help you and want to get you signed up for that. What am I missing, Tammy?
Oh my gosh, there are so many resources and services. Trying to think, our first year experience and success coaches can help you navigate if this is your first year. We have counselors and academic advisors. We have the tutor center you mentioned. We have scholarship resource. We have scholarship advisors that can help you find funding for future. And the student too is about the U of O. So certainly come in and help you find funding for the transfer options too, because there's lots of resources available. I think you did a pretty good job in our health clinic, of course, is another service that is available. I know our resource website has many others that I think we may be forgetting, because yes, there's a lot here to offer to help students be successful.
And it's okay if you don't know what to ask for, if you're not sure, if you're just like, I don't know if someone can help me. This is my situation. We are here to hear you and to sit with you and to connect you to a range of different resources. It might be 3 or 4 things that will solve the problem, and we'll help you find those.
Thank you so much for saying that, Jennifer, because I was thinking like, wow, I was worried that the students were thinking like, that's a lot of stuff. I don't even know how to get through all that. And I like what you said. It's like, hey, if you don't know for sure, I think the takeaway is like, there's a lot of stuff available, but if you don't know what applies to you and what we might qualify for, or if you need to qualify, some of these you don't even need to qualify for them. You can come in, either I put the link for the support hub in the chat, but we'll leave our contact information at the end here, our email addresses and such. And so people can contact us directly if you'd like more information or just ask some questions about that. I'd like to change things up a little bit and talk about our college experiences. We were lucky to have Tammy here, so I think I'm going to go to Tammy next and just ask you, what did you love about your college experience? If you can't pick one thing you loved about your college experience.
So one of my favorite things, and this is probably why I do what I do, is when I first came to campus, I was terrified. I was an older returning parent, single, and just lost my job and my husband. So I had no idea, right? But the first person I met was a student, a peer mentor. And having those connections, having someone help me go through it really kept me motivated and kept me going. Even though this person didn't even know me from no one, totally different than who I am. I think he was just 18, and I was older. It's like had nothing in common, but just having that friendly face, having a connection really helped get me supported. And then of course, connected me with more resources than I ever knew existed. So I think for me, that was my takeaway, is just having that connection and feeling like, okay, I belong here. I can do this. Give me my confidence. Help me keep going.
Tammy, that is an awesome story. I actually did not know that story. And now, and just to the audience, I'm very glad I asked you that question. I was gonna say, you set it up like that. Sounds like a movie that I would watch. So they should make a movie.
And I know our students have many complicated and difficult challenges and many different lives and come to us from many different areas. So mine is just one small story. They all have stories and all have information. And I think we can learn a lot from each other.
That's very true. Thanks, Tammy. Go back to Laura. Same question. What was something that you really enjoyed about your college experience? Where did you go to college? You want to plug your college?
I went to Bates College, which is a small liberal arts college in Maine. Gosh, what did I love about college? I think what I loved is learning really deeply about a few kind of subjects that I chose to pursue that really interested me, and to learn deeply enough about them to start seeing kind of interesting links between them. And I just chose it as a time in life to pursue kind of like deep intellectual pursuits. And for me, that was really satisfying. And I was glad to do that. Yeah. I mean, I did other things too, and it was really fun in other ways. But for me, it was like a pretty deep intellectual period of time in a really satisfying way. Yeah.
That was awesome. Well, now I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So through your studies and as you kind of developed your academics and intellectualism, what led you to medicine?
I knew I wanted to go into healthcare for a long time, since I was pretty young, because I have had, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but it's probably why most people go into the healthcare field. I've just always been drawn to that way of connecting with other people and serving other people in that way. And I love biology. And so in college, I studied biology. And so it's kind of, for me, was a mix of science, which I really just love science, and kind of like the art of medicine and the art of healing, and connecting with people in a really like heartfelt, kind of soulful way. It kind of blends like those two things, which are my kind of favorite things. It's like the perfect field that brings together those two things for me.
Okay, it's not fair that you seem to have reached personal fulfillment already. So I don't know about the rest of you. I'm trying to get there, but sounds like you got there. So,
well, you know, I mean, I feel one thing that's just really cool for me about working at LCC is that in the health clinic here is that a lot of people, I mean, my story, I think, is what I love about healthcare is, I think, true of a lot of people that go into healthcare, but to work as a healthcare provider in America is extraordinarily unsatisfying for many people, because our healthcare system is so broken, and to be part of the system here is deeply unsatisfying for most people that work within it. And I feel so lucky to work at the LCC Health Clinic, because we, for the most part, don't bill insurance, and we are not part of the healthcare system in terms of being part of the big bureaucracy of the healthcare system. And we actually get to spend time with people and get to form relationships with the patients that we see, and get to actually practice medicine in the way that we want to, and get the satisfaction of, you know, practicing what we consider to be the kind of medicine that we went into healthcare to practice, in a way that I think a lot of people don't get to practice anymore. So I just feel like extremely lucky that I get to work in a place like this and actually get to have the satisfaction that I don't think I would necessarily get if I worked in a different place. So
that's
kind of like everything aligns in this really unique way for me.
I'm glad we explored this further, because my subtitle for what you just said was Laura Greene, personally fulfilled in a troubled and beleaguered field and stuff of medicine.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone just join us. So just for those of you who are joining, I've always wanted to do this. This is why I'm doing this. For those of you who are just joining us now, so our virtual resource fair is actually now an interview talk show format. And I just wanted to remind everyone, our guests, we have Laura Greene, director of our health clinic, Jennifer Falzerano, dean of student engagement, Tammy Walters, success coach. I got it right this time, right? Oh, I didn't?
Career advisor, but that's okay.
Career advisor. Why did I say that?
That's all right. We
So
gotcha.
confident too. Tammy Walters, career advisor. And we're now just talking about our college experiences, and hopefully some of these will be useful to our audience. But if you would like us to talk about something else, please go into your Q&A and write us a question. We have a lot of broad expertise here and experiences. We would be very happy to talk about that. Otherwise, I'm going to keep I've actually, even though I've worked with these people for a while, I'm actually learning new things about them. And so I'm going to keep going deeper and deeper until one of you stops me. So we'll go to Jennifer now. So the question we're asking all of us is, what was something that we really loved about our college experience? So go ahead, Jennifer. And plug your college. Where'd you go?
I went to the University of Minnesota Morris campus, which is a public liberal arts campus on the prairies of Western Minnesota. And it is, we jokingly call it a nerd school on the prairie. So I absolutely loved it. I was a nerd in a high school where there weren't a lot of other nerdy kids. And so my best memory was in my first week of class, I was super excited because everyone had done the homework and was excited to discuss it. So I loved, Carl is really laughing at me. He's got some new thoughts about how very nerdy I was in college. And still
Thank you for being clear with everyone. I am laughing at Jennifer, not with her.
Yep, and that's okay. I am who I am. I'm okay with that. So I absolutely loved my college in rural Minnesota, and I had a wonderful opportunity to just explore a lot, things I would have never taken, and have really different perspectives. And one of the best things that we had at Morris that I've always dreamed of bringing to Lane, so maybe next year, we had like a multicultural student leadership retreat. And this was a long time ago. It was way back in the 90s. And it really sought to help folks start to think differently about diversity and equity and inclusion, and to bring that into everything we did from like the beginning of that student leadership experience in our clubs and activities. And I really felt like it made a huge impact in how I like see the world and how I try to be thoughtful about folks that might have different backgrounds than me and build relationships with them. So I've always been really grateful for my experience in my nerd school on the prairie.
So I was going to summarize you, Jennifer, as Jennifer went to college, developed confidence that she didn't need because she already had it, and very happy with who she is. So what did you get out of college then? If you seemed like a self-actualized person before you even got there.
Oh no, I was very shy when I got there, and very had a lot to learn. So it was fantastic.
Okay, thank you. I would say now in an effort to keep boosting ratings, I'm going to ask, and maybe I'll try to stall you for some time while you think of what this is. But what was something you did in college that you regret? And it can't be a health one, Laura. It can't be like you wish you exercised more. I don't know what you would regret, Jennifer. But we can start with anybody. Ooh, do you have one ready to go, Laura?
Yeah, I can go. Well, I did a semester abroad in Nepal, which was amazing. And I guess my only regret is I wish I had either done that for a year, or I wish I had done another semester abroad. I wish I'd taken and I guess a broader way to say that might be to say I wish I had taken even more advantage of some unique opportunities in college that I didn't realize would be so much harder to take advantage of out of college. And an example of something like that would be, going abroad.
That is a
Love
great
it.
answer. I have to tell you, because I wish I could package little, I need to have pocket answers ready to go for stuff like that. Because actually I have heard that as a common regret in college, that that the person didn't go and study abroad or take advantage of some kind of program where it was just a little bit outside of just, taking all the credits you needed to take to graduate, quote unquote, on time. And I think, just to add to your story a little bit, I mean, I feel like, when it is one of the few times in your whole life where you, and again, I know not everyone's the same, because some of us have other career life and other pressures, but sometimes absolutely, it's one of the few times in our lives where we are able to engage in something like that. And it has a profound effect on us for the rest of our lives. And some say that even just the act of going to college is that thing, but I also think very arguably, going to another country, taking an intern somewhere else, doing something completely out of your field is one of those life forming, changing experiences. So thank you very much for that, Laura. Now down to two, Tammy or Jennifer, either one of you can jump in on this. What's something you did like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that, or I wish I'd done something different?
I have to say, I loved science when I was in high school. I loved science and physics and math. But I didn't know I didn't know anybody who was an engineer. I didn't even know that was really a career field, because I grew up in Western South Dakota on a ranch. So that's a very different sort of life. And I didn't know any women in the sciences. So I didn't pursue it because I didn't think it was really something for me. And that's always been something that I'm like, I wish someone would have said, like, hey, girls do science, right? And so it's something that I'm very conscious of as an administrator, to make sure that I'm encouraging folks, like, do whatever you love. And there are folks to try to have, really thoughtful, like, people from diverse genders and backgrounds as role models in different areas for students, because I love being a college administrator and that's a great job for me, but I'm like, maybe I could have cured cancer if I had known that was something girls do.
That's so cool. Yeah, and I think that encourages all to, I mean, sometimes we are the subject to the limitations around us, but we don't have to see it that way. We can, like a lot of the activities you speak of, that is a way to meet different people. And I think we should always be pushing ourselves to do that, so we don't have this regret. So in case any of you out there have to get the same interview question 20 years from now, it's like, I don't have any regrets. I did everything those 4 people told us to do. So Tammy, your turn. What's something, hopefully, please have it be a little bit illegal. That would be great.
Yes, absolutely. So I have 2, and myself being first generation, first in time in college, and non-traditional student, I had a lot to package. One resource that I wish I would have taken advantage of, and is what I help now, is that I help share information about scholarships, but I myself never applied. And I wish, because I ended up with loans, and had I had done something, I would have had no debt if gone through it, because there's so much resource available. And my regret would be not taking advantage of what was available. Just thinking because I didn't feel like I was good enough, or didn't get good enough grades, or it's not for me, it's someone else. But I'll tell you, for those who are listening, scholarships are for everyone, and we can help you resource to find them. And so just knowing that would be my number one regret, is just not.
That is a fantastic regret, actually. and I hear that all the time.
My loans.
Well, I hear all the time that that sometimes some scholarships actually don't get that many applicants. It had just someone who applied, they would have got it, and I think it's worth the time. Thank you for sharing that. You get another one. Again, I hope maybe it's a little illegal.
No, all of them up and up, and it's similar to Laura, and that was because of my children and my commitments. I wish I would have been able to take advantage of the travel and work abroad opportunities, study abroad. I just couldn't get myself wrapped around how I can manage that with getting care for my children, getting care for the home, making the other commitments that I had. So I wish I would have taken advantage of that opportunity as well. And so I don't know, maybe in my next steps I could study abroad.
Well, that's a good news. And, the fact that we acknowledge that there's a value in that means that, maybe we couldn't fit it in our college time, but we could maybe fit it in the rest, some other part of our lives for sure.
Lifelong learning, right?
That's right. And I think I would say one of the things we learn from college is that is what you do. You're really never done. You may get the degree, but you're still really not done. Thank you very much to everyone here for sharing a little bit. I had a little fun. I'm not just saying that for the camera. I actually learned a lot about you three that I didn't know before. Notice I didn't share anything, but hopefully we can have you back again in the future, and we can keep doing something like this, because I think it would be really good for our students.